Alright guys, we are back once again. Let me fix that score since series hasn't even started. We have Park facing off against American Specialist. This is going to be a Storm Division match. First one I'm being cast in this round and this season. So hopefully you're all excited as this should be a real treat. We've done some heroic games, we've done Div A games, and now we're taking it to the next level with the Storm Division games. And we're going to hop on into draft as it's already started. First map of the evening will be Tomb of the Spider Queen, choice of Abusement Park. And we're going to see the Sergeant Hammer and the good old Jimmy Band. If you don't know, this is on the team of American Specialists, includes Paletta. If you don't know who Paletta is, you should know who Paletta is. He's the world renowned Sergeant Hammer kind of one trick that is an excellent Sergeant Hammer. It's been playing Sergeant Hammer for a very, very long time. And on top of that is also GM. So if you haven't seen him, you're probably not watching the right streams because you should be watching some GM streamers or me. And yeah, so the ban for Sergeant Hammer is highly targeted. It's not like some random thing. We're going to get Abusement as the first pickup here, followed by the Phoenix and Johanna. The Genji ban is kind of standard at this point in a lot of drafts, followed up by the Garage, which is also a very standard ban for a lot of teams. Now, at this point, I'd say that the Johanna pickup is definitely excellent, especially to help reduce the Abusement stacking potential. However, there's more than likely going to be another pick here that's going to more than make up for the lack of a Johanna. The Murden will be picked up, Stukov will be picked up, but Decker Kane not being the choice here, which is interesting because usually Decker Kane is the one with the higher priority, which means they're looking for some juicy combos with the silence into the roots of Stukov, then with the stun, and really the AoE damage with that Stukov, although Decker setting up a big old root for Abusement is a big playmaker. We will see the Urel banned out. I'm surprised she made it this far, but with no priority on that solo lane, this is a perfect opportunity to actually take out the Urel. Now, final ban here, I'd assume would be a support ban. Or a solo lane ban. Those are the two most likely culprits, I would imagine. And we are going to have the Decker Kane ban. It makes a lot of sense here. Like if you prioritize the Stukov, do you really want to give them the Deckard? And this now gives them someone like Alex Straza to choose from. Instead, and Alex Straza is not her best map, so it makes a lot of sense to kind of force them into a more awkward pick. But they are going to get themselves a Blaze for the solo lane, which means we'll have someone like a Leo, maybe a Sonya, Dahaka, or maybe something less traditional, even like a Malthael. If there were no Blaze, Malthael makes more sense, but with Bunker available, it's going to be a lot harder to justify. I'm curious if the Maiev will go the Warden's Cage or the Containment Disc. Ooh, we're getting some like really spicy choices for the final picks here. We have Arthas and Alarak. So we're going to have Arthas in the solo lane. This isn't a very untraditional pick unless they're actually going to have Alarak in the solo lane. The thing is, a lot of people play Alarak in the 4-man, especially with his quests, which make him a much more viable in a 4-man. The final pickup will actually be Rhaegar here. It kind of makes sense to pick up the Rhaegar because they have 3 people who can go on in, and dropping in Earthshield onto Johanna just clears the waves instantly. And the problem is that Lifebinder is actually still stronger than Ancestral on a significantly shorter cooldown. So even though the dragon is a large part of her kit, you're giving up arguably a slightly better healer, but it is much better wave clear from this side. Rhaegar, he can go and do the camps, solo if he so chose. And I don't know if that'll be the case, but it is definitely a potential case. All right. So of these two teams, they have very, very different drafts. We have hella spicy draft from American Specialist. Got the Asmodin stacking potential here. A Rhaegar who can do okay, especially like if he drops a healing totem post dunk, then he can heal him up. But a combo with a dunk and a pull and a silence might be enough to seal the deal, especially if they get a good route in place. Now, this is still anyone's game. I like the draft of Abusement Park a little bit more here, despite the Rhaegar being the weaker of the two supports here. I think it'll really come down to execution, but American Specialists and Abusement Park are both made of high caliber players, which means that they should have the capability to execute these drafts on both sides. So late game could definitely fall into the hands of American Specialists, especially as Asmodin keeps getting more and more stacks and becomes more and more of a problem. All right, we're still trying to load on in. Trying to make sure I have nothing screwing up. Computer. There we go. All right. We are definitely getting some lag here. Unfortunately, there we go. Back in the game. All right. We got chips on the Johanna. We got energy on Maiev. Carnival on the Rhaegar. Mason Blaze on the Phoenix. And finally, we got Tracer on the Blaze. And that is going to be Abusement Park. On the other side, we have My Mom is Cool on Zdukov. Any problem on Asmodin. Chrissy 137 on, or is it 37? Sorry, on the Muradin, and then we'll have Paletta on the Arthas. Finally, by first standy, not the second one, on the Alarak. And that is going to be American Specialist. So first things first, no one's looking for that footsie fight on the side of Abusement Park. They just go on down immediately. So taking a look, we have the Neural Stimpack, the Bonds of Justice, Laws of Hope, Wolf Run, and Arsenal Synergy. Other side, a nice pull from First Andy, and the dunk on top of that. Paletta coming on in onto Energy. There is the pull, though. Paletta is deep with Chrissy, and Chrissy will be able to walk out with Paletta. Bottom has been shoved in already by Tracer, free farmed up, but Paletta is there to catch the rest of that XP. They are down a little bit, but not too much there. And dunk going to connect and not going to get too much. Energy has been gone a little too deep there. Going to take a chunk of damage, but very nice condemn there from Chips. Will be some nice retaliation damage. So looking at the other side, we are going to get the perfect storm. The Gluttony already at 35 stacks. Very beautiful job by Chrissy, knowing that he's Muradin, can soak up some of that damage and just have second wind proc. We do have the Fetid Touch, Extended Lightning, and finally Frost Presence. Chrissy trying to abuse Muradin some more and keep him from getting the second win. And My Mom is Cool isn't going to think so highly of that, as Stukov will be the first blood in this game entirely. So mid is in control like I would expect. A very nice combo from First Andy. Chrissy coming on into the thick of things. And we got Energy looking for the pullback, and he will get it. Chrissy, and he will be finished off by Mason Blaze. So 2 kills already in this game. In the bot lane, we have ourselves with a Paletta still holding down the fort with a Tracer on the Blaze. Not to confuse you as if there's an actual Tracer in the game. So forts are going to be around the corner. We have equal gems. So despite the kills, despite the little XP lead, they do have the same gem count. That's a very important thing and something you'll see differentiating better teams from some of the lesser teams. our worst teams or not as good teams, however you want to phrase it. Got energy coming on and going to avoid the Abusement dunk. And first, Andy is going to be joining the crew of in terms of deaths. And my mom is cool. We'll be going down once again. And we got a 2-0 already in this engagement. So this comp is not working so hot so far for American Specialists. They already have taken a ton of structure damage. Chrissy will be able to survive, and they have taken themselves a complete front wall without a single web weaver and have basically a full level lead at this point. This is pretty crazy. In the meantime, looking at the stacks, we have 8, 87, 8, 1, and 3 and 3. Exactly. And then on the other side, Bonds of Justice already getting the extra damage with the 6. That's a really big. So neither team has the ability to get the web weavers at this point, but nonetheless, that means the XP advantage will help them get that turn in, because once 7 comes around, they'll have the ability to bully more effectively with that talent advantage. The downside is the wave is pushed very far forward, and at that point it makes it harder to actually collect your own gems. They do have enough now on both sides, so we should see some tussle happening here to prevent someone from turning in. The Chip's going to just stare down a Murden right now, and we're going to call that a day and get himself a stack in the meantime. Obviously, it's not going to happen, but it keeps him there and keeps him ready to get stacks as he so chooses. There should be the flashlight ready to go, the shield glare, and that'll be the interrupt. In the meantime, we got Tracer bullying Paletta. He does hold a lot of gems, and the blue web weavers will finally be picked up as they get him in the bot side with that talent advantage to be picked up as well. So taking a quick look, got energy coming on in. He does get the chain ready to go, but first Andy going back with him will avoid getting pulled, and Mason Blaze dishing out a large chunk of damage as most of the team does not focus him while they retreat. So web weavers up top is definitely the most important, but if you can get it at 4, this is going to be huge, because that's where most of the XP is actually locked up nowadays, is underneath the fort and not in the towers. In the bot lane, Paletta losing that 1v1 against Tracer, and they'll have to do the best they can as they have no reinforcements coming at this point in time. In the top lane, we have a Phoenix knocking down the walls, taking them towers down, getting his team even more XP. So fort is at 50%. Wall is down, and that'll make it that much easier to siege up into any of these lanes now. Trips going in very deep. First and again in the slow from the punish. Energy looking for the pull, and he'll grab it. We got the healing totem. First Andy not long for this world, and that'll be another kill. We're looking at 5-0. My mom is cool up next on the hit list, and Chrissy should be able to escape, and that'll be a 6-0 for Abusement Park. In the bot lane, we only have a 1 tower standing, about to go down, almost a 2 well, we're about to have a full talent tier lead, and we already have the 2 level lead, and it will continue to be a 2 level lead. So we're now at 102 stacks, 122 stacks as 16 stacks, 15, only 1 on the extended lightning still. Frost presence, we got 50 on the Chaos Reigns, 55 on the Frozen Waste, 10 on the Grill and Kill, 0 on the Subdue, which is almost impossible to get, and still 6 on that Bonds of Justice. Anything out of the ordinary here? Nothing that I can see all that quickly. So once the 200 is hit, the Gluttony is going to help significantly in the damage output. This is where I was concerned about the early game, because Asmodin is a stacking hero, and well, really that's going to determine how this game goes, how well the stacking goes, and how effective it is against Abusement Park, let alone how much of a lead Abusement Park can take prior to that point. So at this point, turn-in is being attempted. They both have turn-in available, and it's really a game of cat and mouse. A Carnival all alone up there. He will keep him from getting the turn-in. In the meantime, They pick up the kill on Muradin, and they get the turn in. So this is ultra value. A kill on the side of Abusement Park, a kill for the side of Abusement Park, and the rotation of on first Andy. The silence will not connect. We got the slow on him. He does have the telekinesis, but he will be going down. And now 8 kills to 0. Abusement Park looking oh so good. So at this point, they have 10s, but they are down levels, and there is a significant pressure across the map. We have bottom getting pushed in, top has been pushed in, we have mid that will be already down. So they have every fort and every wall standing and looking good. They have a level lead, and they'll have another talent lead very, very shortly. Paletta in a bad position. The Blessed Chill coming on out. He will be locked down. The Shield Glare coming on out. Mason Blaze looking for it. But Carissa getting the peels. And they will have to call it a day. They got Muradin pulled on back. The silence onto Maiev. There comes the dragon. Syndra goes the purification salvo. And no one goes down except for my mom is cool. And so at this point, they're still looking for more kills. First, Andy's going to be going down. They have that bunker jumping on through, try to lock him down. The Storm Bolt has been completed. Mason Blaze looking for one more and will be able to get it, I believe. Is he? Oh, he does get the leap, and he will not connect. So we have a Syndra Goza coming on in. This is really crazy because they lose sustain without the Army of the Dead. However, I can see because they have a double warrior that they wouldn't actually choose it. But if they were planning for that, I'd actually say, why didn't Arthas just go? Why didn't they just go to pick, you know, the solo lane build on the Arthas? They could have picked the dueling build, which would have helped Paletta deal with Blaze, and, well, I can't help but feel it's a mistake. Yes, there's a stun and a stun, but that's it. They only have 2 forms of stun, like significant stun. There is the mini stun from the Condemn. I still think it would have been superior to going the full tank build alongside of, or sorry, the normal like tank build with a Syndra Goza. I can see the reasoning behind it, especially when you get the root and you get the dunks on top of that. They have nowhere to go and very little that they can accomplish. I really like Chrissy's positioning here overall, and trying to delay him from coming on up and trying to get as much value on this Web Weaver. The pull on back with the shove. First Andy again, and taking along for the ride there. Syndra Goza coming on out, and the silence is doing work. Tracer's going to be going down. Purification salvo coming on out. Carnival will be going down, and all 5 members of American Specialists are left standing. So American Specialists now going to be really able to make a comeback here. They lose the bot Web Weaver. Top will be cleared up, but they get themselves a critical fort and well. They're starting to scale. We have 251 stacks, 28, 22, 150, 19, and 128. And once Paletta actually finishes that route, it'll be highly, highly effective because you can get so many people lined up and trapped in there. Come level 20, it's going to be insane. That's also why I feel like the Syndra Goza combined with the root isn't really necessary. Like just going for the extra auto damage and speed attack seems to me like it would have been potentially more valuable when you already have the knockback and the stuns, your self root, or not self root, but your root, baseline root, and the silence. And with the back-to-back Web Weavers here, American Specialists are going to get some insane value potentially, as long as it can push in before 16s hit. You can see that it's trickling in because Abusement Park could decide to do something crazy. Well, it's not that crazy, but they could decide to flank, push in with their talent advantage. There's the damage coming on out, locking them down. The unstoppable used by Chips, and they are coming on back. Alarak already going down. Purification salvo in tow. The Warden's Cage coming out, not going to lock anyone down, but they're still looking for more. Chrissy and Paletta both rather low, but Paletta has no escape. A beautiful root from Paletta will dissuade them from continuing in, and they will be able to salvage this somewhat. They get themselves a fort now. Top has been pushed in, and so they salvage the situation by essentially distracting for the web weavers. And Chrissy, very aggressive, going very far forward, just keeping him from rotating and continuing to stack as best he can. And looking once again, we got the grill and kill at only 34 of 60, 13 minutes into the game. And that is on the low and slow side, but it is what it is. So bot lane, we're going to see a Paletta and My Mom Is Cool picking up the siege. And ultimately, they are now on equal talent tiers. We have 310 stacks, 25, 50, and yeah, this is where it starts to get hard for Abusement Park. Asmodin has enough to start stacking, although Night Camp just really screwing him up. Chrissy getting pulled back in, and he's all alone on an island. The silence not going to save Muradin, and even though a Dwarf Spear doesn't speak, Muradin's beard, well, still needs to hear the beautiful voice of that dwarf to help him survive. So with that, they'll be able to get their own turn in. They do have a very small window at this point to fight without dealing with a Muradin, and they'll have to back up in the meantime. We're now at 346 stacks, and Any Problem has almost completed his, well, it's not his quest anymore, but it is a questing talent. He already got that reward, and there is no more reward except for hitting your cap. So at this point, they just need to hold this as best as they can. You can see top keep is really low. Chrissy going very far forward, and Any Problem actually going to be caught out. Beautiful root from Paletta, trying to save Any Problem, but it won't be enough. The silence in tow, the ancestral save in the day. Warden's cage first. Andy getting pulled on back. Purification salvo, and the damage on everyone is real, but the Stukov, a stiff arm, the massive shove, sending Mason Blaze back, and they lose a chunk of damage. Mason looking for the kills, but he will not be able to get it, and they sort of salvage a rough situation by not having anyone else die there. However, the problem is they got web weavers pushing in top with a wave, mid pushing in, and bot is going to be slowly pushed on in. So we finally got the fetid touch completed here, and so this is going to be additional cooldown and has no mana cost. And a big old dunk going to help clear things up by Any Problem. They're looking for the engagement again. They know cooldowns are still down here, and this is their opportunity. Tracer having been silenced. Bunker's not available yet. The lockdown on top of him, but all of that damage, and Chrissy's been pulled back in. Paletta's been pulled back in, but the trade out for energy. First Andy going to make it out with the telekinesis. Carnival, where are you going? The pathing definitely seems like a pathing mistake there. Going on down, they have no heals, and Mason Blaze using that Unconquered Spirit to get a trade, and it is an absolute bloodbath as 3 members on both teams go down. My Mom Is Cool is looking for it. We got the laser. There is the bunker going to interrupt, and they're turning back and forth, juking and jiving. The jet propulsion will not land on Any Problem, and look at how many gems these two are holding. Both sides, 21 and 24 respectively, and then we have 20 and 29. This is absolutely insane.
Red team's core is under attack.
So, quest completed, 40 stacks. We have 100 on the Chaos Reigns, and we finally had that grill and kill done. Also, Bonds of Justice is almost done. 9 out of 10, so it'll get that extra cleave damage. So, 20 versus 19. No turn-in available. They can do several different things. They can bait the boss, which is definitely viable. They can sit around waiting to collect enough. Just let the lanes push on back and collect those gems. And then get the web weavers and try and end the game with 3 web weavers. Chrissy jumping on in, has no escape at this point. We got energy coming on in, and the warden's cage is available. There is the lockdown with the warden. Any problem dunking on him. The Syndragosa, the Ancestral has come on out, and Chrissy leaping on out will not matter. First Andy is down for the count. Chrissy may be next. Any problem will miss with the dunk, and my mom is cool. Will be joining his crew, as that is 3 members down, 4 American specialists, and that is going to be GG. With only 2 members standing, any problem is dunks are not going to be good enough to save the day. And it's showing once again, even though the dunks do a lot of damage, Abusement does not do it often enough to really win games, from my perspective. You get that portion of time where he's doing more damage than you can heal, but then you sort of reach a pinnacle where Abusement stops doing like the damage that you actually see on his stats page. It doesn't align with the experience in game. Yeah, he's dunking maybe 3 to 5 people, but it doesn't feel like much. And looking at those final stats, you can actually see what I'm talking about. 72,222 damage. A lot of dunks, but it wasn't felt. It just wasn't felt. And then on the other side, 70.5k healing from Carnival, and 58.7k from My Mom is Cool. Now, he had some good shoves, some good silences, and you can see he sort of made it up with that damage output that he had overall. And Mason Blaze just going absolutely ham on that Phoenix, getting almost 110,000. He has nearly 50% more, over 50% more than Abusement. Abusment does AoE damage, and Phoenix with Purification Salvo is technically his main form of AoE damage, but he just did so much damage. On the other side, for tanking, Chips walking away with a little bit of more damage taken. And finally, about even for both Blaze and Arthas, respectively. So very well done, with a very minor hiccup overall by Abusement Park in the mid to late part of the game, but they recovered, came back very strong, and as the kill count shows, 19-5, yeah, it kind of speaks for itself. Overall, Abusement Park abused the American Specialist, and definitely abused First Andy quite a bit in My Mom is Cool, quite a bit that game. So sit on tight, we're going to go over to the replays, and we'll get these guys into the second game of the series.